Boa tarde, Brasil. Boa tarde, Inglaterra. Estamos aqui em mais um Heavy Culture especial, março, dia 1º, 4 da tarde no Brasil, 7 horas na Inglaterra, Reino Unido, e hoje, né, estamos recebendo aí uma lenda da nossa infância, né, que a gente se criou aí, como diz se criou aí com Venom, e hoje a gente está aqui com a lenda Antony Bray Abaddon. Welcome to Heavy Culture, Tony.
How are you? Are you good?
Yes, that's fine.
Estamos aqui também com os nossos queridos companheiros de Heavy Culture, Ivan. Seja bem-vindo, Ivan.
Boa tarde. Geralmente é uma boa noite, né? Mas hoje é uma boa tarde.
Hoje é boa tarde.
Uma edição especial com um cara renomado aí, que nem diz o Jorge, um músico que a gente cresceu ouvindo, né? A gente teve uma influência direta de Venom, e quem não teve, eu acho que começou meio errado aí. Digamos,
enfim.
Indo para o lado errado, pelo lado mais extremo.
Muito bom. Christian, bem-vindo, Christian.
Falou.
Christian é de poucas palavras. Vamos aproveitar esse momento aqui. Eu queria...
Não esquece.
Subscribe the channel, aquela coisa toda, aperta o sininho, dá uma força para nós.
Inscreva no canal, compartilha, toca no sininho aí para receber as notificações, se inscreve lá, muito importante para a gente, para fazer o canal crescer um pouco mais, a gente atingir mais pessoas. Compartilha, deixa
interajam,
deixa sugestão, escreva aqui no chat aqui para a gente ter perguntas também para o nosso convidado, que é um cara que tem muita história para contar. Grande Abaddon.
Eu queria começar do início.
Vale.
Falar aí como é que tá a vida do Abaddon, todo mundo aí. A gente sempre começa com essa pergunta, porque realmente é uma pergunta importante, cara. A nossa vida deu uma chacoalhada, deu uma reviravolta. Eu queria saber como ele tá, como é que ele ficou aí nesses anos de pandemia. Ainda existe a pandemia, né? E a gente está sabendo que ele está à frente da banda solo. Enfim, se ele pudesse dar um upgrade aí, um status atualizado de como está a vida dele e da banda solo, seria bacana começar. Por favor, meu amigo Christian.
We were talking about the situation nowadays with the pandemic and the things, how are they doing? So George is asking about your life. How is your life nowadays with all this situation, 2 years that we were stuck without playing, without having concerts and things like that? How is your life? And also, we wanted to know about your solo band. How is it doing and things like that, and the expectations for the next year.
We've been very lucky because we have a rehearsal space where we were able to we kind of formed a bubble together, and we could go to the rehearsal space most weekends and see each other for a few hours, write new songs, do some video work, this kind of thing. So yeah, the pandemic was shit. It was years of being stuck in the house, but we managed to get out one day at a weekend. We've done a couple of shows now, one or two. One, we've got some more stuff planned. I'm talking to somebody about coming to South America at the end of this year. We've got a new guitar player as well, the guy called Ken Johnson, who was in Blitzkrieg for 15 years, the main songwriter in Blitzkrieg. So you've got me with this kind of heavy metal background. You've got Ken with this new wave of British heavy metal thing. And you've got Steve Hoggart, who's a singer in the band, who was in a band called Ardcore, who were a punk band in the kind of 70s and 80s. So he still writes punk rock type stuff. I still write heavy metal Venom type stuff, and Ken's got this new wave of British heavy metal thing going on, so it's a very interesting band. I think it's a very interesting band with a lot of same as what Venom was. We had a lot of influences outside of heavy rock or heavy metal, and it's the same with Abaddon. We've got a good mix of songs and influences,
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of returning to the roots of Venom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've never left that. That's always been that's always been what I've been about. Even when I did the sort of Abaddon albums with some samples and this kind of thing. was still about the roots of Venom, the roots of heavy metal.
Great to know that. Ok, I'm gonna speak in português. Da pandemia, assim, foi para todo mundo uma bosta, mas eles foram bem sortudos, assim, porque eles têm um espaço que eles podem ensaiar, né? Então, eles continuaram ensaiando, né? Fizeram alguns poucos shows agora. Ele tá conversando para fazer um show com o Venom aqui no final do ano, na América Latina, estão acertando isso. E sobre a banda nova, né? Eles estão escrevendo material novo já, é o que eles conseguiram fazer, apesar de terem ficado trancados em casa, assim. Mas o que acontece é que essa banda nova, assim, ela tem uma característica bem similar ao Venom, assim, as raízes do Venom, né? Tu tem ali guitarra de hardcore, tu tem um vocalista que pertence à fase da New Wave of British Heavy Metal, que é o que o Venom era no começo da carreira lá, né? Uma coisa bem misturada, assim. Então, tipo, tem isso. Então, o projeto está em andamento, né? Então, logo vai sair alguma coisa. Pode perguntar.
Muito bom, Ivan. Microfone.
Ligado. Eu queria falar com o Venom, já que ele falou sobre voltar ao passado, eu queria já perguntar para ele que é uma curiosidade muito grande. O Venom foi uma das principais bandas, assim, digamos, do metal mais extremo, assim, na segunda leva do metal mais extremo, digamos, dos anos 80, lá no começo dos anos 80. Eu queria saber dele, assim, quando que eles perceberam, que eles perceberam, os três ali, no caso, o alguém, quando o Venom tinha um produto diferenciado, assim, uma música diferenciada, que eles se tornaram gigantes e totalmente influentes. E ele também, como baterista, como músico, ele se tornou muito influente na primeira leva do metal dos anos 80.
Okay. Ivan is asking about the importance of Venom here in Brazil in the 80s and around the world, because when you started, you were one of the most aggressive bands, you know, like you had like a difference, you know, we can say that you excel the other bands, attracted lots of attention because of like this kind of raw and heavy sound that Venom had in the beginning. How do you feel about it? And also because you became an influence to lots of drummers from the 80s until now, we can say that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'm most proud about, really. I know I've heard some of the other guys saying differently, but I'm very proud to have been able to influence other bands and even some bands that are happening, like you say, new bands that are happening now, because that's something that you don't really set out to do. That's something that happens by accident. You go about your business and you make music and people like it, you know. But to then have, you know, years and years and years later, have bands saying that Venom was such a big influence. And some very important drummers and some very important bands and guitarists, you know, would turn around and say that without Venom, they maybe wouldn't have gone down the path that they did. They might have still been in a hard rock band or a heavy metal band, but not have the kind of attitude that Venom brought to the whole, the music, the artwork, the backdrops, the stage show. You know, Venom wasn't about one thing. We kind of got quite a lot of things kind of right, almost by accident.
Yeah. It was important, very important, because also we just have Hellhammer because of Venom.
Yeah, I guess so. Celtic Frost, maybe Demoborgia, you know, Sepultura. It goes on and on. You know. That's something. The thing that I always say is that a black metal Norwegian band, crazy over the top Norwegian band, has nothing in common with Pantera. You know, totally different fans, totally different style of music, but both of them have roots in Venom.
Have you ever imagined that Venom would be such a monster like that? You know.
Yeah, because you know, when you start a band, when you're a 19-year-old guy or something, you've got big balls, you know. and you just think fuck the world, and we're going to do what we're going to do. When we were starting, we lived in a place where there was Raven, there was Tigers of Pantang, there was Fist, Avenger, Blitzkrieg, and we were different to all of them, but they were all successful, but we were just different. People have it's a weird thing now. People say we're Venom, a new wave of British heavy metal band, because Venom was so different to all the other bands in that genre. And I still don't know. I don't know where we fit, which is why years and years and years later, I still think that's why we were and still are original and originators.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna speak in português here. Bom, ele sente bastante orgulho, assim, por ter iniciado essa coisa também, né? Por ser um baterista que serviu de influência para outros bateristas também, dentro da América do Sul, aqui. A gente estava comentando sobre o Hellhammer também, ele falou sobre o Celtic Frost, também não existiria. As bandas na Noruega também, todas têm alguma influência do Venom, e isso, para ele, é legal, assim. Eu até perguntei pra ele se ele imaginava que eles iam ser esse monstro todo assim. Ele disse que quando tu é mais novo, sim, né? Já esperava isso, porque o que acontece? O Venom era diferente, como ele estava falando, era diferente de várias bandas ali, né? Eles cresceram junto ali da região onde tinha o Tigers of Pantang.
Tigers of Pantang.
Enrolei a língua aqui, né? O Blitzkrieg também, então isso fazia uma diferença, assim, e quando colocaram o Venom no meio do New Wave of British Heavy Metal, ele não entendia muito isso também, porque a banda era diferente, todo mundo sempre falava que a banda era diferente, né, uma banda que se destacava por isso, assim, e até hoje ele vê isso, assim, como eles são os caras que originaram uma coisa por serem totalmente diferente daquela cena que tinha naquela época ali, até hoje, né, não consegue definir o Venom como New Wave of British Heavy Metal, porque não era original demais, era diferente demais, e hoje em dia também ainda não dá para jogar para dentro do New Wave British Heavy Metal, porque é o Venom, digamos assim, o Venom é o Venom, não tem o que comparar, assim, e essa parte das influências, assim, ele sabe bastante, assim, fica bem contente de ter influenciado várias outras bandas, assim, até bandas de estilo diferente, né, que seguiram essa proposta. Tem alguma coisa de Venom, como o próprio Pantera também tem alguma coisa de Venom, né?
E a gente conversou muito com o John Zazo lá, né, que partiu recentemente, e ele falava da influência do Venom no Metallica, como é que ele enxerga isso, o próprio Slayer, né, como o Venom, ele falava que o Venom era o pai do thrash metal, né, como é que ele vê isso? Sempre tive curiosidade de saber.
George was talking about the late John Zazzle because we had the opportunity to interview him, and he always mentioned that without Venom we wouldn't have Metallica, Slayer, and bands like that, because Venom was like very important for this band, even for Megadeth, because Dave Mustaine was a huge fan in that time, I remember. Now he's like, oh.
Vai, foco.
Agora a treta tá grande. Por essa eu não esperava. Não tava no script, esse aí não tava no script.
How do you see this?
Foco.
Quase me afoguei agora aqui.
Ai, vamos lá. Então.
I
Okay.
think John was right. I think John had a vision on the East Coast of America. I think Brian Slagle had a vision on the West Coast of America. I think David Wood maybe had a vision, but in England at Neat Records. All these guys knew that they liked hard rock and heavy metal, and they knew that the bands were possibly out there, but it needed something somewhere to kickstart all of this. And when Venom went into Neat Records, the guy who was running it, obviously he had Tigers of Pantang, etc., who were much more of a standard kind of a rock band. And when Venom walked in, and we did a demo. We sent the demo to Jeff Barton, who was a reviewer at Sounds magazine. This was before Kerrang came out, and Jeff did this incredible review of our first demo. And the guy David Wood from Neat Records, the guy who didn't like Venom's music, but could see, the guy who was a businessman could see the potential and realized that he had a hold of something that was world beating. And obviously he then hooked up with Johnny Z and Brian Slagle and people like this all over the world. All these people just came together really quickly. And they all understood straight away that Venom was something much, much, much different and much more in keeping with what young people would want to listen to and to see. And Venom, we just kept getting more extreme. So yeah, bands like Metallica maybe would have been still in a band, but they would have been influenced more by, bands like Budgie or Motorhead or something, or this kind of stuff. They wouldn't have been the extreme metal band that they became. The whole thrash thing, came out of Venom. Black metal came out of Venom. Death metal came out of Venom. Chuck Schuldiner said Venom was the first death metal band. It's all extreme music seemed to start here.
Yeah, I think it's the main pillar, it's like where everything started is there. Like it's just a spreading,
Yeah,
Okay.
but it went to it very quickly went across America. At the same time, went across South America. It went across the whole of Europe. It went in Australia. It was just kind of instant. It wasn't like it took 10 years to make this thing happen. It just happened kind of overnight.
Yeah.
We didn't know what makes a band successful. It just happened to us. We just happened to do the right thing, and it was because it was from the heart. It was passionate.
Yeah.
We meant it. We meant everything we did. We used to rehearse in a church hall, a lot of bands rehearsing, guys. We rehearsed in a church hall, and people used to come and sit and watch us rehearse. We'd get people just sitting on the floor with a couple of cans of beer or cider or something. And they'd sit and watch us in rehearsals, and we were like, we're drawing a crowd, we're not, we should have fucking charged them.
Yeah. Ok. Bom, falando ali do falecido João Zazola, ele fala que sim, ele estava certo, estava bem correto sobre esse lance do Venom ser, né, o pai do thrash metal, death metal. O próprio Chuck Schuldiner fala isso também, né? Então, tipo, tem essa influência também. O Chuck do Testament também tem várias influências também dentro. O Testament tem suas influências perdidas ali de Venom também. Mas o John era um cara que estava à frente, né? Ele foi um dos caras ali responsáveis por toda essa leva de banda que aconteceu nos Estados Unidos. E essas bandas tinham sua influência também. Até mesmo o próprio Dave Mustaine antes de virar, né? O que virou agora, né? Então, ele sabe dessa coisa assim. E na Inglaterra, quem fez a mão mesmo foi a Neat Records, né? Quando eles gravaram a demo, os caras acreditaram no potencial, né? E viram que ali tinha alguma coisa diferente. Isso que eles tinham ali, Tigers of Ten Pens, bandas padrões que, né, sabe, que vende, mas o Venom tava se destacando ali, né? Então, tipo, foi legal, assim. Eles não sabem dizer, assim, o que faz a banda ter sucesso, né? Mas eu acho que é algo, assim, meio que do coração mesmo, assim, da dedicação deles, assim, né? Porque a banda, ela estourou da noite pro dia, não demorou 10 anos pra banda estourar, né? Como eu falei ali, o Venom é um dos pilares para tudo, é pilar para death metal, como ele mesmo falou, black metal. E quando isso se espalhou, ele se espalhou pela América Latina, pela América do Norte, muito rápido também, e começou a originar várias bandas dentro do estilo. Não Algumas demoraram bastante tempo para ficar conhecida, mas o Venom não. O Venom, ele, né, estourou da noite pro dia mesmo, assim. É uma coisa que eles não esperavam que fosse acontecer, assim. Os caras acreditaram no potencial, sabiam que a banda era diferente, né. Aí ele tava lembrando também no começo, lá, quando eles ensaiavam numa igreja, né, que sempre tinha gente lá pra ver eles tocando, os ensaios, coisa e tal. Então, tipo, o pessoal ficava lá sentado no chão, ele até deu risada ali dizendo que eles deviam cobrar ingresso. Né, mas ele acredita que o sucesso do Venom se deve à dedicação deles e o que eles botaram deles mesmo na banda, assim, né? Porque é o pilar de tudo, né? Tipo, tu tem influência do Venom em tudo que é coisa que tu pode imaginar, ou desde aquela época até agora, né?
Sim. Vai
lá, Ivan.
Eu tinha uma curiosidade aqui para gente que viveu nos anos 80 e colecionando álbuns aqui. O Venom, ele figurou em duas fitas clássicas VHS.
Uhum.
Das três que a gente acho que mais ouviu aqui, que teve o Seven Dates, que foi um formador de opinião. Depois teve o Iron Maiden com o Live After Death, que também formou opinião. E a terceira, que o Venom também está inclusa, é na Combate.
Uhum.
Que teve um impacto violento na gente aqui, mas tanto a Seven Dates como a Combate, eu queria que ele falasse sobre esses dois shows.
O Hammersmith, né? O show do Hammersmith.
O Hammersmith,
84.
brutais, assim, que formou opinião aqui, formou caráter, digamos, pra gente aqui.
Okay. If I was talking about the VHS era, you know, like the concerts, like the gosh, my memory.
Seven Dates.
The Seven Dates and the Hammersmith, you know, like when this VHS came to Brazil, it was like a boom, you know, like everybody got crazy. Yeah. Like everybody was crazy watching that. Everybody got influenced by that. How do you say it is, like, the remembrances of these concerts? Because they were pretty important in the formation of lots of bands.
One of the things I remember very, very fondly, a very good friend of mine who became Venom's manager was a guy called Eric Cook. And Eric was a small-time manager. He could see, again, he could see how important Venom was. And Eric rang, I was sitting with him, and he rang an agent in London, a big agency. We picked the biggest agency. Eric always did it big. And Eric rang this agency and said, I've got a band who are going to be playing in London soon, and I'd like you to come and see them. And this guy called Nick Peel said, yeah, okay, no worries. Maybe he thought we were going to play in a pub or something. Venom, nobody had heard of Venom in the agency. And the guys, Nick Peel said, okay, you know, when are they playing? I'll come and see them. And Eric said, oh, they're playing Hammersmith Odeon. And the guy said, oh, that's a really good gig, really big gig, good gig. Who are they supporting? And Eric said, no, they're going to headline. It's the first gig ever in England, and they're going to headline. And this guy said, right, okay, but you know, it's not going to sell out. And Eric said, oh, it's already sold out. We're going to book a second night. And this guy was like, who the fuck is this band? What the fuck are they fucking insane? And Lenny from Motorhead came to the gig. All the girls from girls' school came to the gig. Everybody came to see what the fuck Venom was about. Why these three Geordie arseholes thought they could just take over the fucking world.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you know, I went down to we live on a river here, so I went to the shipbuilding place to have a drum riser built, like you do. Everybody else just buys a drum riser, but we had to go and get one welded together. So we had this hydraulic thing. I had this idea about the drum kit going up like Kiss used to do, with flames coming out the bottom and all this kind of thing. It was just an insane fucking experience. It was crazy. The whole thing, the biggest back line we could possibly get in there. We got measured. The guy, we hadn't used big PA companies or lighting companies, and we hired the biggest lighting company we could. We hired the biggest lighting rig. We hired the biggest PA, and the guy from the PA company, the guy doing the out front sound. This was a one-off gig. It wasn't a 2 hours, a one-off gig. And this guy out front said, "You've got to turn your amplifiers down." And he was measuring us, and we were 147 decibels on stage before he even switched the PA on. And he said, all I can hear is the fucking.
Yeah.
We didn't know shit. We had a road crew who were our friends. We had a guy like Stephen Ash was the guitar roadie. I'm not even sure at that time if Steve could tune a guitar. I had drum roadies who were the two guys who I used to go out going out drinking with. Just friends. And when we did the seven dates tour, we had a proper road crew, proper PA and everything. And these guys, these guys from Birmingham in England who they'd been out with I don't know, Simple Minds and U2 and Queen and blah blah blah. And they got a hold of us and said, "Who the fuck is this road crew?" they don't know what they're fucking doing. But they were just friends, They were just guys who wanted to help out, and they turned up at rehearsals every week. So we took them all around the world. We brought them to Brazil in '87.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing by then.
Yeah. Ok. Bom, ali as lembranças dele, né, do Hammersmith, aquele mais guarda, assim, é do empresário deles, né, que o cara trabalhava numa agência grande e sempre acreditou no potencial do Venom, assim, né, então quando fez o primeiro show, tinha um cara lá que era, acho que parte da agência lá, que o cara perguntou, né, quem é esses caras? Tipo, eles vão abrir o show de quem? Não, o show é deles, né? O cara, tipo, como assim? Mas nunca ouvi falar no rádio essa banda, né? Tipo, ninguém sabia o que era o Venom naquela época, né? Então, quando eles fizeram esse show, que durou 2 dias, né? Teve que agendarem um segundo dia de tanto que vendeu, né? Eles ficaram bem, assim, o nome do cara, Nick Teo, ele ficou bem surpreso com o que era o Venom, assim, né, e também o pessoal que trabalhava também com a parte dos PAs, coisas e tal, também ficaram surpresos, assim, com a barulheira que era o Venom, né, tanto que ele falou ali que ele tocaram com 140 decibéis sem ligar os PA, né, então quando ligaram os PA ficou aquela zoeira do inferno que a gente conhece no VHS, né. Então, tipo, quando eles foram fazer o show também, eles moravam perto do Distrito Industrial ali, né, foram catar um esquema para levantar a bateria, né, porque ele queria que a bateria ficasse acima, né, e imaginar mais aquelas coisas com fogo também, coisa e tal, com uma pirotecnia, né, para fazer um show bem interessante. E foi legal, porque, tipo, foi o pessoal do Girls Go, foi pessoal de outras bandas também, para ver o show deles, assim, que foi fantástico, assim, porque era uma banda desconhecida, né, tipo, ninguém sabia o que era aquilo, e os caras, tipo, olharam assim, pô, os caras estão no segundo show e ninguém conhece os caras. Já no Seven Days of Hell, né, eles já tinham uma equipe, que eles não sabiam nem quem era os Hold direito, mas já tinham a própria equipe, coisa e tal, e é um que também ele gosta bastante, assim, né, tanto que veio aqui pro Brasil, né, depois com a mesma equipe, né, essa equipe já sabia o que tinha que fazer, então foi bem melhor, assim.
Então, eu já queria fazer um link com a vinda do Venom no Brasil em 86, né, que foi um grande marco, né, todo mundo sabe aqui, né, bandas ali como Dorsal, Sepultura abrindo, bandas seminais aí, né, que se tornaram ícones, referências. Queria saber, né, aliás, a gente já sabe, né, que a tour foi um desastre, né, a gente acompanhou na mídia aí, né, o Venom veio sem o Mantas, enfim, eu queria saber qual é a lembrança que ele tem do Brasil, se ele ficou com uma má impressão, enfim, se tudo aquilo que foi noticiado aí faz sentido, enfim, ter a visão dele seria legal.
Okay, we were talking about the 1986 tour here in Brazil. That was a disaster. Do you remember anything about it? Because we had like Sepultura, Dorsal Atlantica playing together, and they were supposed to have a concert in Porto Alegre too that time, but didn't happen. It was like a kind of a mess. It was like, do you remember this? Like,
I
what
don't.
really happened?
I don't remember it being a disaster. I remember the
Yeah, the
first of
media
all.
reported it as a disaster.
Deixa
Not
claro,
Okay.
a mídia passou que foi ruim.
Yeah, it's like not for the fans, but the
No,
media said like things like that was a huge disaster. Should be like a better concert
Roubaram as
and
coisas
things
do
like
Venom?
that.
Será que faz sentido isso?
George is asking that you were stolen too, things like that. Because
yeah,
that time,
it was I remember that Rock in Rio had happened. That was the festival Rock in Rio was a
yeah,
thing, but no band. I think I'm right in saying that no band had ever tried to tour in Brazil before.
yeah,
Motorhead had been approached. They looked into it. The manager looked into it and said no. And again, Eric Cook, who was Venom's manager, thought, well, it's just another step. It's something else. It can't be that bad,
yeah.
So we said yes. I think there were five dates booked. We came over, and the first thing that happened when we got picked up at the airport, we had guys in suits who were like minders who were carrying guns. And we thought, well, this is a bit strong.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So when we went to the hotels were beautiful. We went to the hotel in Rio, and there were guys on the roof with guns. There were guys following us. When we went to the beach, there were guys following us in suits and carrying guns. And it was, we were like, what the fuck? What's this bad? What's this strong? And there was talk about the possibility of us being taken away or something, I don't know, and then used for some kind of ransom demand or something stupid. And we were like, we were these guys from the northeast of England. We thought it was fucking stupid,
Yeah.
But we went to Marquezinho, and there were just people around the fucking block, who were right around, and we were pulling up in a bus, and we were like, how many people want to see the band? We played some okay big places, like a few thousand or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going into the building, and we were backstage, I think, and the guys, the crew took the guitars onto stage before we were going to go out and play, and there were shots fired, and they came running back in, practically like on their hands and knees, with the guitars, dragging them behind them, saying like, "Fuck!" They've started shooting out there. Something had happened where, if I can remember correctly, something had happened where so many people had turned up without tickets, and just kind of forced into the doors to break the doors down and just say, "Fuck it, I'm going to the gig, whatever happens. I don't have any money, but fuck you." So when we eventually got some level of rationality, we went on stage, and I just remember these white helmeted police, side by side, right across the front of the stage, standing facing the crowd.
It was because we were still in the dictatorship that time. Like there was still part of the dictatorship working at that time, so we had police officers everywhere. It was a piece of shit
everywhere. And I had this gigantic drum kit on a drum riser, and I played this drum fill left to right. So I'm starting over here, and by the time I got to this end, I heard this gigantic crash. When I looked back, half my drum kit was missing, because there were seats in the crowd, and somebody had pulled the legs off this seat and used it like a boomerang, and it wiped out the drum kit and all the microphones and everything on this side. Right. So I was like, right, fuck me. What do I do? It was great fun, honestly.
Yeah.
What happened with Porto Alegre was the promoter over there had made so much money from the first 4 shows that if he'd gone to the last show, then he would have had to pay us. So we never got paid anything. And the only way we could actually get back to our to the airport for our flights, I remember there was one of our fans ran a radio station, and he said, "We'll put something out and ask somebody if they've got a bus and they can take you to the airport. Can you give them something, like put like a kind of a raffle?" Mm-hmm. And we had this. I don't know if you remember, but there was a backdrop with a kind of a demon on it, and it was huge. It was this hand painted backdrop, and we said, "Well, what's the point of taking it back? You know, fuck it. Let's give that as a kind of a raffle type of a prize, like a, you know, if you've got a bus company or something and you can take us, you can have this." So we gave it away and we got back to the airport, everything fine, blah, blah, blah. We did some stuff about getting money back, but we never got it. But that backdrop is still in Brazil somewhere. Somebody has it. It's like 60 feet wide and 40 feet deep. It's gigantic. But
wow. It works a lot now.
If that person's watching me now, I'm going to say thank you for the bus ride.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's like, just to add a point, like the media said that was a disaster, I think, because that, as you said, there was like Rock in Rio. Venom was the first band playing like a huge concert here in Brazil, and also because the media in that time had no experience with heavy metal bands here, not even rock and roll, actually, because we were in a dictatorship. Because after the dictatorship ended, then we were forced to accept lots of things. So I like in that time also, like the media said what they wanted to do. You know, we had no sources to check it was real, not real. You know, like it's different nowadays that you can check what is fake, what is not fake, and things like that. Yeah. But in that time, the media helped to fuck lots of things, lots of bands too, because they didn't like it, because they had this straightened mind because of the dictatorship and things like that. I'm gonna give the Portuguese version to the audience here. Absolutely. Ok. Do show aqui que teve em 86, ele não acha que foi um desastre, assim, né? Mas que nem a gente estava falando, a mídia que acusou de ser um desastre. Ele lembra que foi na época ainda do Rock in Rio, né? Então, corajosamente, o Venom foi uma das primeiras bandas que veio pra cá tocar sem ninguém conhecer, bem dizer. Tipo, o manager deles que disse, não, vou levar a banda, coisa e tal. O Motorhead ia tentar vir na época, mas disseram que não era para vir, coisa e tal. Então, o que acontece é que teve os seus imprevistos, coisa e tal, mas não foi um desastre, foi bem legal, assim, né? Ele lembra que a primeira coisa, quando eles chegaram no aeroporto aqui, tava uns caras já tudo fardados, esperando eles com armas, né? Meio que, assim, né? E também, quando eles foram pro hotel, o hotel era bem legal, assim, também tinha um monte de gente armada no teto, coisa e tal. Quando eles saíram também, estavam sempre seguidos pelos policiais, né? Isso que eu estava falando para ele é o que sobrou da ditadura naquela época, né? Porque em 86, né, a gente ainda estava, né, vivendo o finzinho daquela bosta toda lá, e ainda tinha aquele pensamento. Aí, tipo, uma das coisas que ele lembra também ali, quando eles tocaram no Maracanãzinho ali, né, foi que, tipo, tinha todo aquele... Tinha bastante gente, então, tipo, o show não foi um fracasso, né? Tinha filas e filas para entrar, assim. Uma das coisas que ele lembra também que teve gente que não conseguiu entrar, que estava forçando os portões para entrar de qualquer jeito para ver o show, né? E uma das coisas engraçadas foi que quando ele tocou com a bateria, né? Que ele colocou ela na parte elevada ali, alguém arrancou uma das fileiras das cadeiras e jogou na bateria, a bateria inteira caiu, né? Desapareceu, assim. Ele também achou engraçado que sumiu a guitarra uma hora, daqui a pouco veio, não lembro quem veio lá, meio que disse, pega a guitarra, toca com a minha guitarra.
Coisas dos anos 80.
E o show em Porto Alegre não aconteceu, justamente porque o cara que estava organizando aqui não pagou eles. O cara ganhou
Normal.
dinheiro e não
Basicão.
pagou eles. Basicão, né? E aí eles não tinham dinheiro, eles não ganharam dinheiro e não iam vir para cá. E aí o que eles fizeram? Eles tinham uma bandeira gigante com um demônio, que eles pegaram e decidiram rifar ela para pegar um dinheiro, né? Então o que eles fizeram? Né, pegaram essa... Até tá o não consigo ler o nome, falando sobre o backdrop. Então, tipo, eles pegaram, fizeram essa rifa para poder voltar embora, para ter um dinheiro, coisa e tal, mas da parte de Porto Alegre não veio dinheiro nenhum. E o pessoal aqui reclamando naquela época pra caralho, né? E a mídia distorcendo tudo como sempre, né?
Enfim, era tudo novo, né, cara? Tudo novo.
Como ele falou ali, o Venom, ele arriscou vir pra cá numa época que a banda não era conhecida e nenhuma banda vinha pra cá. O que teve de mais aucioso, assim, pra quem lembra, né, nós, né, foi o Iron Maiden tocando, mas era o Rock in Rio, né, o Iron Maiden não veio...
Outra pegada, né?
O Iron Maiden, o primeiro show do Iron Maiden no Brasil não foi com o Iron Maiden. Não foi um show do Iron Maiden, foi um festival. Então não dá para contar. O Venom dá para se dizer assim, ó, que ele passou o Iron Maiden nessa história aí, porque ele veio para cá fazer o show deles. O Iron Maiden não, ele veio para cá para fazer parte de um bagulho muito mais...
Vamos voltar um pouco ao passado dele aqui.
Só deixa eu acrescentar ali. Still talking about backdrop, have you read there? Yeah, like...
Aqui, ó.
Tá ali o Em Ruínas. Quer ler pra ele, Cristian?
O Em Ruínas, Em Ruínas said that has the backdrop over here, you know, like. Can you read down there?
Yeah.
Tá em boas mãos.
Yeah, it is in good hands.
Good. Very pleased.
Yeah.
I bet his neighbors fucking hate him.
Yeah. Vai lá.
Vamos voltar ao tempo lá. Aonde que ele decidiu que iria ser um baterista, que ele escolheu o instrumento para ser, que seria o baterista, e quais são as influências que ele tinha naquela época lá?
Ok.
Ele se tornou a referência depois disso.
Sim. Ivan is asking about how did you decide to become a drummer and your influences and how you influenced lots of drummers after that.
I originally started playing bass guitar. And I went to a shop in Newcastle, a music shop. Newcastle was it's not a very big city. It's a very industrial city, but it's a party city. And they have a lot of bars. A lot of people come from all over the world to have great parties in Newcastle. But they also had great music shops. And when you went in the music shop, they used to have like a wall with little bits of paper on, and it would say, bass player wanted, guitarist wanted, and a phone number. Ring this number if you're into Black Sabbath, blah, 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 blah. And I saw this one, and it said drummer wanted. And my mum and dad didn't have a phone, so I had to go to a phone box. There were no mobile phones. I had to go to a phone box, like on Doctor Who, with it.
Yeah, I remember.
I had to go to the phone box. And it didn't go to another planet. It was just
it's not a TARDIS machine.
But it might as well, because I rang Jeff Dunn, who was who obviously became Mantis. And he was looking for a drummer for his band. And I said, so, what are you into? And he said, Judas Priest and Kiss. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm more into Motorhead, Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, but okay, I can play. And I had to go back and ask my mum and dad if I could get a loan to buy a drum kit. Now, I couldn't play drums. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. But I bought a drum kit and went to this rehearsal space. And just fucking made it up. I just made it up and pretended that I knew what I was doing. I had long hair, had a leather jacket, blah blah blah. And I was very lucky because his band was shit. So it didn't really matter what I did. I could just kind of I got a chance to learn as I was already in the band, you know. And I could, for a couple of weeks, I could go back to the guy I bought the drum kit from, and he said, "I'll give you some lessons." So I got 6 lessons in the very, very most basic kind of way. But I made a very, very, very big mistake because, as I told you, we were rehearsing in this church hall, which was maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 miles from my house, my mother's house, my parents' house, and the guy who had the van which used to pick us up was the friend of one of the other guys in the band. So he picked everybody up. He picked Jeff up, and he picked the bass player up, all his equipment, and he picked the other guitarist. The only person left in the church hall was me and my drum kit. But I'd already said to Jeff, "Look, the band's shit. Me and you should work together, but we should get rid of these guys." And Jeff agreed. He said, "Okay." But the big mistake, I made was I sacked this guy. I sacked all the guys in the van as they were sitting there with all the equipment, and the guy who had the van was there, and I sacked them all. So he took them all home and didn't come back for me. Fucking idiot. So I got left in the church hall with my drum kit, trying to get it into a taxi.
Oh gosh, that's a pain. Yes.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
But from that, we very quickly we got to Jeff Mantis. He went to a night out with his girlfriend, and she had a friend who had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was Kronos.
Yeah.
So he came the next week. I had a friend who was a singer, or who wanted to be a singer. He was influenced by Alice Cooper, and he was called Clive Archer. Me and Clive and Eric Cuckoo became Venom's manager. We all worked together as kind of apprentices when we were like 16, 17. So we knew what each other liked. But Jeff met Conrad Lant at this girl's house, and he said to him, "What do you do?" And he said, "Oh, I play bass and I sing." He said, "Oh, great, I've got a band. Do you want to come down and rehearse?" Now, when Conrad came in, his influences were like new wave music, and he used to wear eye makeup, and he had long red hair. So when he came to rehearsals, me and Jeff were already on stage with Clive, and we were running through some stuff. And Conrad came in with these kind of high-heeled boots on, and this skinny leather jacket, and this red hair, and this eye makeup and face makeup and everything. And when he came in, I think Jeff forgot that he'd invited him, and Jeff thought Jeff thought it was a girl. So he started preening around the stage like KK Dowling or something, thinking he was going to impress this girl. And it was Kronos.
Aos podres.
Okay. Curiosity. Clive was Jesus Christ, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. He was a kind of a weird guy. I mean, I've tried to get in touch with him since, and he doesn't want to, which is okay. But he was a crazy guy, and he was very, very influenced by Judas Priest. We went to see Judas Priest in something like 1978 at the gig we have called the City Hall, and it has an upstairs and a big downstairs. And Jeff was downstairs, and I'd said to him, "I've got this guy called Clive Archer, and he wants to sing. You know, I'm going to buy a PA and microphone, this kind of thing." Yeah. So I was in the balcony upstairs, and I was beside Clive, and Jeff spotted me and sort of waved up, whatever, shouted something, and so I pointed at Clive, and Jeff looked at him and just said, "Yeah, he looks fucking great." You know, it was like thumbs up kind of thing. Yeah. And Clive did the first demos that we sent to the guy I told you about, Jeff Barton, at Sounds Magazine, which got us the deal. So Clive was in the band that got us a deal. Kronos didn't sing on the demo that got us a deal. He sang after that.
Oh, he has a great importance.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Okay, you're gonna talk in Portuguese to the guys here. Bom, falando das influências dele ali, primeiramente ele tocava baixo, né? Ele começou tocando baixo, não sabia tocar porcaria nenhuma de bateria. Aí ele ia numa lojinha, né, que tinha lá em Newcastle, que vendia baixo e tinha um monte de anunciozinhos, né, de procura-se coisa e tal, e ele viu um de procura-se baterista, né? Aí ele pegou, olhou assim, ficou interessado, foi no telefone, né, naquelas cabine de telefone estilo Dr. Who, lá que todo mundo conhece, né? Não tem mais, não tem mais, pra galera mais nova não existe mais, as vermelhinhas lá. Aí ele ligou pro cara, tava pedindo baterista, que veio a ser o Jeff, vulgo Mantas, que todo mundo conhece, e perguntou, né, tipo, eu queria tocar bateria, coisa e tal. E aí eles se conheceram, né? Foram tocar bateria. Ele não sabia tocar bosta nenhuma da bateria. Mas como ele tinha cabelo comprido, visual, né? O Mantas olhou assim, legal, coisa e tal. E, tipo, o Mantas curtia mais Kiss, essas coisas assim, e o Abaddon já era mais Motorhead, as coisas mais pesadas assim, né? Então, tipo, já deu uma fusão legal aí. Já deu um match. Então, tipo, quando eles começaram, né, ele não sabia tocar direito. Então, e ele não tinha bateria também. Aí ele tinha um cara vendendo uma bateria, ele foi lá, comprou o kit da bateria do cara, só que, não conseguia tocar direito, coisa e tal, mas os caras queriam na banda. Aí o que ele fez? Ele foi lá, fez umas 6 aulas com o cara, né, e conseguiu pegar uma manha para tocar bateria, assim. E ele agradece bastante isso, porque, tipo, a banda não era tão boa, assim. Então, tipo, eram uns loucos tentando aprender a fazer alguma coisa, na verdade. E tinha visual para isso, coisa e tal. Então, ele se sente bem agradecido de ter tido a oportunidade de ter tocado, começar tocando com o Mantas, porque, tipo, eles evoluíram junto. Então, isso fez com que ele conseguisse aprender a tocar bateria, tudo, né? E eles tocavam direto na igreja, aquela que eu falei, né? Tipo, quando eles foram tocar, ele fala que ele cometeu o maior erro da vida dele, que foi, os caras estavam falando que a banda era uma merda, ele pegou e demitiu todo mundo que tava lá, né? Que eram os caras que levavam e traziam eles pra igreja, né? Que era 5 milhas de distância da casa dos pais dele. Ele disse que foi o maior erro que eu fiz, porque os caras foram embora e deixaram eu com a porra da bateria inteira lá.
Enfim, coisas da adolescência aí.
Né? Aí, tipo, eles estavam procurando depois o Clive, né? Que é o primeiro vocalista do Venom, né, que nem eu citei ali, que é o Jesus Cristo. Isso. Né, ele tava junto ali, né? O cara era fanático por Judas Priest, foi o cara que gravou as primeiras demos, né? Quando ele apresentou pro Jeff, eles se conheceram num show, né, do Judas Priest em 78. Ele tava no balcão, né? E aí apontou pro Jeff, esse aqui é o Jesus Christ. Ele falou, o cara tem visual, coisa e tal. Então, tipo, tinha um visual legal. Mas no meio tempo eles começaram a procurar outro vocalista, né? Daí a namorada do Jeff tinha uma prima que tinha um namorado lá, e os caras falaram, tipo, tem um cara lá que toca também, que toca baixo vocal. Daí chamaram ele para um ensaio. Só que seguinte, eles estavam ensaiando na igreja de blues, né? Tipo, tava o Clive no vocal, aquela formação ali. E o Mantas, né? O Kronos aparece lá, né? De jaqueta de couro, cabelo comprido, o make, todo.
Levou.
Todo arrumadinho assim. E o que aconteceu, né? O Mantas esqueceu que tinha convidado ele. E confundiu ele com uma guria. Então, na hora que ele entrou na igreja, ele começou a tocar guitarra que nem o KK. Foi impressionante.
Essa ficou nos altos das
essa
histórias.
aí complicou.
Então,
Excelente.
depois ele ficou ele acabou entrando na banda, mas aí falando da importância do Clive, ele tentou manter contatos assim, mas o cara era muito louco assim, né? Mas ele é de grande importância, ele tem 100% de importância no Venom assim, porque foi ele que gravou a demo, foi dali que eles mandaram para Nit Records e dali que saiu o Venom que a gente conhece, né? Mas essa parte da igreja
muito
aí
bom. Excelente.
do Cronos ser confundido com a garotinha foi a melhor parte, né? Porque ele era bem magrinho, né? Então, tipo, imagina, o Cronos magricelo com aquela jaqueta por cima e o make-up com a cara toda branca, né?
Christian, audience, please.
Okay. And Ruinas is asking here, he want to know about his Brazilian mother and the opinion of Battery and Hellhammer.
I don't know. Somebody asked a question about something, and I didn't really know the answer, so I just said, "Oh, did you know my mother was Brazilian?" Because I figured it would kind of get me through the question, you know. We used to do something because we used to get bored with interviews, so we used to give different answers to the same questions, because obviously in an interview that you tend to get asked the same questions, and we had this agreement, especially me and Kronos, we had this agreement where we would give different answers, radically, massively different answers to the same question. So when all the magazines came out, all the answers would be completely different. Just total bullshit.
And what is your opinion about?
Yeah, but my mother was Brazilian. Yeah.
Really?
No.
No.
Welcome to 1984.
Yeah.
Muito bom.
Okay, so and Ruinas would like to know your opinion about Battery and Hellhammer.
I mean, both bands, in my opinion, were clearly influenced by Venom. Tom Fisher originally said he wasn't, and has since done a thing where I think he did kind of a review of Welcome to Hell, where he completely changed and said that, you know, it was a seminal album. It was the album. I mean, they were both excellent bands. They were both very influential. But again, would they have happened if it wasn't for Venom? I mean, I keep saying this. I know it's boring, but
like this is very important. It is true. Like I remember in interviews, Quarton always said that it was like Battery and Venom. It was like just a coincidence because he never heard of it. Like, Altus Battery, Raise the Dead. It's just a coincidence. you know, England. He used to say England is far away from here. Like, I don't know what's happening there.
Not so far. I still remember there's a very famous shot of him where he's on his knees and kind of half naked and holding himself, and it's an absolute copy of Kronos' shot. On the pentagram and everything. It's an absolute copy. But then again, you know, it's like, you know, we all have influences. You know, I used to think that Kronos, when he would kind of stalk like a cat across the stage, looked exactly like Gene Simmons in the way Gene Simmons used to move. So it's always in the back. My influences were people like Ian Pace from Deep Purple and Cozy Powell, you know. And when I look at pictures of Ian Pace and David Coverdale, I think that's who I've tried to look like my whole life. So without even, obviously, I'm not as good a drummer as Ian Pace, and I never will be. But the influence of the way they looked in the band and the way they acted in the band that they were in is something that I've kind of been influenced by my whole life. So you do see things around you, and you do kind of be influenced from it.
Yep. Ok, I'm gonna give the answers in Portuguese here. Bom, falando sobre a mãe brasileira dele. Né, tipo, isso não existe. Isso é porque eles faziam questão de avacalhar nas entrevistas e ele e o Cronos tinham um acordo de sempre dar a resposta mais errada possível e nunca dar a mesma resposta para a mesma pergunta, porque eles achavam uma xaropice as entrevistas, por isso que os caras ficavam repetindo as mesmas perguntas sempre. Então eles começaram a zoeira.
Não mudou muito, né?
E essa história da mãe dele ser brasileira, ele lembra que o cara perguntou uma coisa que ele não sabia a resposta, daí ele disse, isso aí é porque a minha mãe é do Brasil. E aí surgiu essa lenda aí, né? Tipo, que a mãe dele era brasileira, coisa e tal. No quesito das influências ali, né? Do Bathory e do Hellhammer, ele fala que ele gosta, ele acha que as bandas também foram bem influenciais, né? Elas são importantes dentro, assim, da cena, mas o que seria delas se não fosse o Venom, né? Elas estão aí por causa do Venom, então isso também mostra a importância do Venom para eles. O Tom, né, quando ele começou o Hellhammer, ele não admitia isso, né? Mas depois, num tempo, né, ele começou a falar que sim, né? O Venom foi a coisa mais, foi onde é que originou tudo para ele, né? Foi o que mudou, né? Ele juntou Venom com Serifangol ali, saiu o Celtic Frost depois, né? Um pouquinho de hardcore. Já no quesito ali do Bathory, a gente tava falando, né? O Corton, ele imitava o Cronos de cabo a rabo, né? Tem até aquela foto clássica dele de joelho, né? Cuspindo no fogo, que é exatamente igual uma das fotos do Cronos, né? Então, me fala que, tipo, é legal, elas são bandas importantes, mas elas são bandas que também tiveram, né, toda a influência do Venom deles, assim, né. Ele tá falando assim que o que mais causava aquela coisa assim era o jeito que o Cronos entrava no palco, né, como se fosse o Gene Simmons com aquele que parecia um gato espreitando, assim, e ele sempre foi influenciado por bateristas como de Purple, coisa e tal, assim, que ele, né, gosta bastante, assim, do quesito do visual, né, ele fala que não vai ser, nunca foi um baterista tão bom quanto eles, mas são uma influência deles, assim, então isso tem uma diferença bastante.
O Venom, né, hoje a gente tem uma visão, né, o Venom passa uma impressão, assim, que é uma outra banda, enfim, o Cronos está tocando, sim. E para nós aqui, né, o Cronos passa uma imagem muito superstar, muito distante do público, né, como é que ele vê hoje a banda? Por favor.
Okay, talking about Venom and Venom Inc. Venom is completely different nowadays. Most of the fans are like kind of look to the band like it's not good anymore. And for us here in Brazil, Kronos seems to be like he became a rock star or something like that. He doesn't care about people and about the fans and things like that. Obviously, it's like one thing that he stated once that I didn't like is saying that Demolition Man was not part of Venom and things like that. He was like the main vocalist. I think he forgot Primeval, and I think he forgot that Demolition Man was there, so he is part of the Venom too, like now Venom Inc. And how do you see this, like this new, like I think he's struggling to keep Venom alive because the most important part of Venom is in Venom Inc. That's difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult because the two individual people outside of music, the two individual people don't like each other at all. If they were working in a factory, they would hate each other. If they were working together on a bus or a train, they would hate each other. So when you drag the two personalities into the word Venom, you get that kind of hatred, that kind of thing, which was always there. It was me, absolutely me, that got Tony Dole and Demolition Man into Venom. It was me that that approached Jeff about coming back in to do Primeval. It was my studio. The time that we had to record Primeval, it was all about getting back to Venom's roots, but with better recording techniques and being better drummers, better guitarists, better singer, than they had been. Not better than Kronos, but better than they had been. And I'm very proud of that era. When I had the opportunity to go in with Venom Inc., I didn't hesitate. If I had an opportunity to go back with Jeff and Conrad and do Venom again, I wouldn't hesitate. For me, that's what my life has been. The two people have been extremely good frontmen of this band, and Tony Dolan understood the Demolition Man. He understood what it was to fill the boots of somebody like Kronos because he was a Venom fan. Before anything else, when he was in Atomcraft, and they supported us many times, it was me and Eric Cook who got Atomcraft to go out with Venom so many times to support Venom, and also to support other bands like Nasty Savage, Exodus, Crumbsuckers. It was us that got Atomcraft to go on these tours. And one of the only main things I've ever thought about with Conrad, I haven't thought about Venom really with Conrad. One of the only things I thought about was that we were spending so much time as a management company, me and Eric, promoting Atomcraft, Tony Dolan's band. So he obviously hated the fact that he was going to be the singer in the band. But no, I just think that all of the eras of Venom, different eras, like when Jim Clare was in, when we did Calm Before the Storm and Mike Hickey and people like that, we tried to be the best version of Venom that we could be. When you look back in history, was that the best version? Was this the best version? The thing is that all the people who collect Venom records and all the fans who care about the history of Venom care about all of it. Absolutely all of it. With Clive at the very beginning, even though they never saw him on stage, they never got a record with him, really. There's been a few kind of bootleggy things, but you know what it is? It's just been such a ride, and all the people who've been part of it have been so important. And I've got a kind of an inkling that it's not finished yet. I think a lot of people think that a lot of the big fans are losing hope that maybe it's done, it's dusted, it's over. I'm thinking of you, John Parry. But I've got this gut feeling that it's not. I think there's going to be another reunion. I think there's going to be big shows. I think there's going to be this thing that's going to crush the end of pandemic, and I think it's going to make people sit up and take some fucking notice. And I think it's going to be Venom. I think it's going to be Kronos. It's going to be Mantis, and it's going to be Abaddon. It's what I think.
Ok. Bom, ele fala ali que é difícil, né? São duas pessoas que se tu botar pra trabalhar juntos se matam. Né? Mas a questão ali do Demolition Man, né, é que ele foi o cara que botou o Demolition Man dentro do Venom, né? Ele, quando o Demolition Man estava no Atomcraft, ele que organizava os shows junto com o Eric pro Atomcraft abrir pro Venom, Exodus, as coisas e tal. Então ele sempre teve uma amizade forte assim com o Demolition Man, né? Então já ficava claro meio que pro Kronos que quem iria substituir ele ia ser o Demolition Man, né? E ele também é bem contente com o resultado que teve, né? O Primeval, ele gosta bastante dessa era, eles tentaram dar o melhor do Venom ali. O Calm Before the Storm também não é o melhor, mas é o que eles deram de melhor para ser um dos melhores Venoms também. E também ele fala que os fãs gostam bastante dessas eras, né? É uma coisa que é importante, né, para a carreira do Venom, assim, e que ajudou bastante, assim. Ele não hesitaria, né, quando convidaram ele para tocar no Venom Inc., ele não hesitou, né, e ele também não hesitaria em tocar de novo com o Venom, né, sendo o trio original, né, tipo, como foi, né? Mas o Venom tem a sua importância, assim. Mas, né, o foco é o Venom Inc. Agora tem que fazer show, coisa e tal. Né? Depois vou perguntar os negócios que o Em Ruínas perguntou aí. Mas a questão mais é que ele, né, não deseja nada de ruim, assim, mas o foco tipo, se chamarem ele pra tocar com o Venom, ele tocaria, ou se fosse o trio de novo, não tem importância, assim,
Legal.
é importante. Também ele cita a importância do Clive também, que ninguém viu o cara tocar ao vivo, mas os fãs todos correm atrás de material com ele também, né? There is another question from In Ruínas here. He is asking if you still are friends with Kronos.
No, I haven't spoken to him for a long time. We had a situation at the end of the last reunion in 97, 98. We sat down, Jeff and Eric and I sat down, and Jeff said he couldn't work with Conrad anymore. I was kind of devastated because we'd spent so long trying to get the band back together. And I tried to talk him out of it. I don't remember. Conrad has never done anything, not really. He's a bit of a prick, but so am I. And that's what makes the band good. But the situation came where I wrote a letter to Conrad to sack him because Jeff wanted to, and what happened was that although Jeff wanted to sack Conrad, I got a letter saying that they were both in Germany recording what turned out to be Resurrection, and kind of demanding that I would go over and play on it. And I said, no, hang on, you need to sort this shit out. You wanted him sacked, and you wanted me to write the letter, so I did. I'm a fucking fool, but I did. And Eric Cook, who was my very, 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 very best friend, and I fell out because of it, because he said I should go to Germany. I should just put up with all this bullshit and play in the band. And I said, no, fuck off. And me and Eric fell out, and I massively regret that. Eric died. And we did make it up towards the end, but it was stupidity between grown men. You know, we were fucking in my 40s or 50s or something, and it was a ridiculous situation. And I should have told Jeff to fuck off and just say, you know, pull your pants up and accept that Conrad is Conrad. You know, he's not doing anything wrong. He's not fucking breaking up hotel rooms or fucking killing fucking Christians. He's just being Conrad. He's just being a bit of a dick, as we all are. You know, I regret that a lot. I regret all that period at the end of that reunion. I regret it a lot.
Yeah, ok. Bom, eles não se falam desde a época do reunion, tá? Porque, tipo, ele teve que demitir o Cronos, né? Tipo, eles sentaram, conversaram, tipo, que não dava mais pra trabalhar com ele. Mas ele não entendia o porquê, porque ele não fez nada, né? Então, tipo, ele meio que se arrepende disso, né? Porque o Cronos, né, nunca fez nada demais, sempre foi ele, né? E eles demitiram ele no meio da gravação do... esqueci o nome do álbum.
Resurrection.
Isso, valeu. Então, tipo, isso aí foi meio que foda, assim, né? Tipo, depois ele e o Eric eram muito amigos também, o Eric morreu, então, tipo, eles acabaram demitindo o Cronos por, né, insistência do Jeff também, que já não aguentava mais trabalhar com ele, né? Mas ele acha que isso foi meio que uma estupidez, assim, entre uma briga entre...
Sim,
tipo, uma briga de criança com gente crescida, assim. Ele meio que se arrepende disso, assim. Foi meio ruim, assim, porque, tipo, não teve culpa, na verdade. Os caras só decidiram que não dava mais pra trabalhar com ele, né? Coisas que acontecem. Mas daí, desde então, eles não se falaram mais, né? There is another question for you. Like, what is your favorite track from Possessive? The album.
Oh, wow. From Possessive?
Yeah.
I think just the title track, the whole that whole thing had a kind of an was a kind of a field that was left over after At War with Satan. And I just thought that's probably always been my favorite track. It was a funny story. It was my son, John, who's on the front cover of Possessed, and the little girl is Richie Nichols' girl. Richie was the brother of Keith Nichol, who was the engineer for Venom then, in the studio. And I brought my little son, and he brought his little daughter, and I had this idea. I used to do all the album covers, all the artwork, all the video stuff, all the production for Nightmare was always my ideas. And I had this idea to have these two children sitting playing on the floor with some teddy bears.
Yeah.
And what I had done was I had took the teddy bears apart and took all the stuffing out of the middle and filled them all up with blood, and then put like the arms back in and everything. So the kids would be playing, and all of a sudden they would like start fighting over the teddy bears for fun, and they would pull it up, and then all the teddy bears would start bleeding. All these toys would start bleeding on the floor.
Yeah.
Which was an extremely bad idea because the kids were kind of traumatized.
I would say that.
Fucking idiot. I'm an idiot. I get it. So we put them against the wall. So if you look at the cover of Possessed, the kids look a bit kind of like they don't want to be
what
there.
we're doing here. Yeah. Okay.
John's a big guy now, so you know he laughs about it. He gets it.
Yeah, it's like, that's me. Ok. Bom, a música favorita do Possessive é o Possessive pra ele, né? Ele tava falando ali da história da capa, né? Que é o filho dele na capa e a filha do engenheiro de som deles lá, né? Que é ele que bolou a ideia da capa. A ideia da capa era pra ser eles brincando com os ursinhos de pelúcia no meio de um pentagrama ali, os ursinhos tudo sangrando, que eles iam arrancar as cabeças e os ursos iam espalhar sangue pra todo lado, mas essa ideia meio que, né, ficou muito radical demais, iam traumatizar as crianças, então melhor abortar. Né, tipo, ele que sempre foi responsável pelos clipes também, e as capas do Venom, né? Então, tipo, ele também foi responsável por essa, mas aí, tipo, a ideia ficou meio off, assim, porque, tipo, a gente vai traumatizar as crianças e não vai ser. Então, é por isso que eles estavam com aquela cara meio de assustado, assim, não sabia o que estavam fazendo ali na hora que eles tiraram a foto na parede, né? Mas, tipo, o som que ele mais gosta mesmo é o Possessive mesmo. Vai lá, Ivan.
Vai lá, Ivan.
Para citar, assim, os 3 primeiros álbuns do Venom, eles tiveram uma força fundamental na criação do nome e do estilo black metal. Se fosse para escolher, qual é o preferido dos três primeiros para ele, na opinião dele? Welcome to Hell, Black Metal, Watch War?
Okay, Ivan is asking about the 3 first albums because they are fundamental for the black metal and very important in the creation of the style and spreading the style and things like that. In your opinion, which of the 3 albums is the most important for you? Your favorite?
Welcome to Hell, I think, because it shows 3 people being thrown together in a room, a very small room, with some microphones, and it's the raw version of what heavy metal is all about. Call it black metal, call it death metal, call it thrash metal, call it heavy metal. It's what it's all about. It's people getting in. It's what Dave Grohl said. It's people getting in a garage and being shit, but having the greatest fucking fun. When at that point we were like the best friends on the fucking planet, you know, nothing could move us, nobody could interrupt us. Bands, I remember a band called Fist who were fucking brilliant. The drummer was a big influence on me, Harry, and I remember they came into the control room at Impulse at Neat Records studios while we were running through a track in the studio next door, and they could see us. And they were a big deal. Fist were a big deal band. They were a heavy metal band, big heavy metal band. And I remember somebody saying, the engineer, I think again, Keith Nichol, turned around to us afterwards and said, you know, Fist are a big deal. And they came in here and said, what? the fuck are they doing? What the fuck is that? And it's like, oh, that's Venom. And they were like, I don't understand what the fuck noise that is. I don't understand what they're doing. they're just going fucking insane. I've never heard any band do that before. And that was a band that we looked up to, you know, and it was like,
yeah.
That was during, you know, early sessions for Welcome to Hell, and it was just unbridled fucking passion. With black metal, we got to understand a few of the rules, and because we made the studio quite a bit of money, the equipment got better, the recording desk got better, they went from 16 track up to 24 track recording, and just things just kind of got better. Whether that's better for Venom or better not, I don't know. But Welcome to Hell definitely it would be my my choice. War with Satan was a great fucking fun to play because I certainly understood more about acoustics, and I built a room within a room to make my drums sound louder. And most people that I speak to who understand these things, or who like Venom, or who are fans, will say that was the best drum sound we ever got. So I did kind of learn like on the job, you know, while I was there.
Great. Ok. Bom, o favorito dele, né, já sabemos, é Welcome to Hell. Por quê? Porque era, tipo, como ele menciona ali, 3 caras tocando uma barulheira do cão no inferno, uma merda, né, que é o heavy metal, assim, né, tipo, mas tocando com paixão, né, que é o que importa, que nem o próprio Dave Grohl falou, né, tipo, banda mesmo é tu trancado num canto, fazendo merda por diversão e aquilo acontecendo de verdade. Ele cita, né, a importância do Welcome to Hell também, tipo, pelo fato de ele ser um dos mais barulhentos, assim, também teve uma evolução de gravação também, né, que acontece de um pro outro. Mas quando ele até fala ali, quando um dos bateristas foram pro estúdio para ver eles gravando o Welcome to Hell, os caras ficaram apavorado, que não conseguiam entender o que era aquilo, que barulheira do inferno era aquela, porque, tipo, literalmente o Venom era diferente de tudo que era coisa, que, tipo, não tô conseguindo entender nada que esses caras estão tocando. Ele fala, tipo, o cara que tava junto falou, isso aí é o Venom. Os caras vão dizer, mas isso aí não lembra nada, né, tipo, é uma barulheira do cão, e é exatamente o que eles queriam, né? Eles não queriam ser uma banda igual às outras, eles queriam montar o estilo deles, né, o que foi bem importante. Então isso ajudou bastante, assim. Então definitivamente o Welcome to Hell para ele, né, além de ser melhor gravado, que nem o At War with Satan é melhor gravado também. Ele fala que é o que tem a melhor qualidade de bateria. O pessoal também elogia bastante a bateria. E também é um álbum que ele evoluiu já também na bateria, assim. Então ele também gosta bastante da produção dele, essas coisas assim. Mas o Welcome to Hell é o top.
Boa escolha, eu também escolheria, eu acho, o Welcome to Hell. A gente vai liberar o Antony aí, né? Aqui a gente tem uma figura muito bacana aqui com a gente, o Silvio Tomás, ele acompanha o canal, né? Ele diz que hoje é aniversário dele, parabéns aí, Silvio, obrigado pela audiência. Ele pede para o Abaddon mandar um salve para ele e para o filho Benjamin, que são fãs do Venom, hein?
Okay, so it's like we have Silvio here. It's like today is his birthday, and he is asking you to send hails and congratulations for him and his son, who were great fans of Venom.
No, fuck off.
Venom sendo Venom. Ô, Silvio, é o Venom.
Have a great birthday, mate. Having a drink with you.
Olha aí, ó. Olha aí, muito bom. Agradece aí. Ó, a gente tem 1000 perguntas aqui, galera. Não dá, a gente fechou um horário aqui com o Antony, né? A gente poderia ficar aqui 3 horas tranquilo, mas enfim, agradece ele. Thank you so much, Antony.
Well, it was a huge pleasure talking to you. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity, and we hope to see Venom playing here again. Hope everything goes smoothly this year, and then we can have Venom and other bands also playing here in Brazil, South America, and all the concerts coming back to the normal. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, guys. It's been a fantastic evening. Thank you.
Hope to see you
Galera,
soon.
Obrigadão. Acompanhe a agenda aí do Heavy Culture. Tá? Obrigado
Mesmo
pela
os
audiência.
bateristas, né?
Mesmo os bateristas. E o próximo baterista da lista é o Lee Harrison.
E Harrison.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, sure.
I love you, Carito.
Muito bom, muito bom, muito bom. Galera, bye.
Obrigado, se inscreva no canal,
Bye, bye.
compartilha.
Bye, bye, guys.
Hell, my friends.
Obrigado a todo mundo, obrigado, Anthony, obrigado, Jorge, obrigado, Chris.
Yeah.
Tchau, tchau.